All the days and weeks spent on finding the answer. What had I not seen? The pieces just didn't quite add up. Wait, of course! The whole time the answer was in front of me, staring me in the face. All this time, I should have just been doing my data homework.
Long John Silver's is back. Well, more accurately speaking, they never left. But they are slowly leaving. Well, or accurately, I'm back to talk about them again. And this time, more than just their a little bit odd Twitter account. No, there's so much more.
Alright, so here I am back on the Long John Silver's Twitter page. They changed their bio actually since last time. And now it says, yep, we're still open for drive-through and carry-out. So, they changed it a little bit. Now, you might ask yourself, has anything interesting happened on the Twitter? And I would say, no. Not really. Considering, they just had a poll. Should we offer more Southern-style fried catfish at more of our restaurants? Fish, yeah. So at least 4 people voted on the. Oh, you can see it is 152. I just rolled my eyes. I know you can't tell, but some binary, which if you translate it, of course, obviously translates to more fish. But the rest is just kind of, just there's not anything crazy interesting. However, this one. Need a new license plate? What should it say? Fish, yeah? Fantasy? Oh my god? Or chick plunks? It's your guess as to what that means. I think I know, but I'm not gonna say.
Oh, that was kind of a disappointment, but don't worry. There's still so much more to uncover with Long John Silver's. Just you wait.
Something weird I've noticed is that even though Long John Silver's is pretty much exclusively in the U.S., at least, yeah. But according to Google Maps, if I just go in, there's one right here in Mexico. Not even that close to the border. It's somewhere called Dr. Cos. Now, is this real? Is Google Maps just making a little mistake? The answer is probably. Who knows? Clearly, it's something there. So I found an article about someone writing about Long John Silver's titled "Eating Badly: Things I Have Witnessed at Long John Silver's" by Jim Vorel. So this is a few years old, like 5 years old almost right now, but I think it's still pretty entertaining. It's got a few fun lines. You'd be hard-pressed to find a fast food chain, at least until 2014 or so, that had a more who cares attitude toward incredibly unhealthy menu items than Long John Silver's. I'm just gonna read some highlights of this. And for that reason, I've always felt the occasional trip to Long John Silver's is like pure writer's inspiration. Once a year or so, I go, I eat, I watch, and listen. I try to absorb what, if anything, has changed or evolved, and then I go home and feel ill for an extended period of time. The instance below all happened as a result of those various trips. Heartburn. Long John Silver's holds the distinction of being responsible for the first time in my life that I ever suffered from heartburn, and as a child no less. Crispies. If you've ordered, pretty much anything at LGS, you know that it comes with a complimentary sprinkling of the brand's proprietary fairy dust, known in the parlance of the restaurant workers as Crispies. A crispy, if you were wondering, is one of those tiny bits of fried batter that coats everything going into the fryer. So, the reject scraps I've talked about before. What you may not have known is that the restaurant staff is trained to treat Crispies essentially like a side item if requested by the customer, as in you can get them on demand should you so choose. I learned this while making a once yearly Long John Silver's visit while in college when a small but corpulent child, he couldn't have been more than 9 or 10, trundled up to the counter while I was ordering, asked, "Can I get some Crispies?" There I was, watching in rapt fascination and wondering what exactly he was requesting when a worker emerged from the back carrying a fry container. A fry container completely filled with Crispies, which the fat little child gleefully took back to his booth and began to lustily devour. I spent the rest of the encounter attempting to restrain myself from running out of the building, waving my arms and babbling nonsense about the end of the world, as you do. Who needs a box? I once witnessed something in a Long John Silver's to eat one of the large-scale combo meals intended not for one person but a small family. Having plenty of food left over once his belly was appropriately distended, he he went up to the counter to ask for someone to carry his food home in, to which they handed him a plastic bag, and I watched as this person scooped up uneaten pieces of fish, chicken, and fries, just tossed them into a plastic bag. No box, no barrier, just a plastic bag full of room temperature fried fish carried out the door. A tasty snack for the road, perhaps?
Will there be anything else, sir?
Yes. Could I actually? Could I get a bag? Like a plastic bag, you know?
Oh, no, we can grab you a box if you like to put your remaining food in.
No hablo inglés. I asked for a bag.
Okay, very well then. Okay, here's your bag.
Thank you. The big catch. Back in 2013, LJS introduced was probably the single most audacious item in their stored history. The Big Catch basket. It consists of simply one giant hunk of fish and the usual sides, fried in their normal fashion, but the nutrition info was well and truly staggering. 1,320 calories, 3,700 milligrams of sodium, 19 grams of saturated fat, and the coup de grace, 33 grams of trans fat, which is about 2 weeks the recommended amount of trans fats in a single goddamn meal. It was so awful that it was named the worst restaurant meal in America by the Center for Science and the Public Interest. So naturally, I had to go eat one. And he included a video. I'm experiencing nostalgic heartburn now, just remembering the experience. You cannot get it. The Big Catch is gone. As we went through the drive-thru to order my Big Catch meal, we were presented with an opportunity. Would you like to add a chicken plank for 99 cents? Here I am ordering the worst restaurant meal in America, and the drive-thru attendant is under contractual obligation to ask me if I would like to add even more additional fried food to said meal. What could I say except, of course I want a chicken plank for 99 cents. Because that's what you do when you're a Long John Silver's customer. That's just one person's personal experience from Long John Silver's.
As was brought up in the previous article, Long John Silver's ended up creating the unhealthiest meal in America, which, sure, just like fast food and whatnot, but still, the fact that they created it is kind of insane, considering like fish is supposed to be like, oh, fish is a healthy food, it's so good for you, but they ended up creating just the worst, most unhealthy meal in America. That's just crazy though, right? Like, the meal was just a big hunk of whitefish, and there was this big hunk of whitefish, and it's like, oh, there's 8 ounces of pure haddock or whatever, except that only about 60% of that was actual fish. The rest was just grease, was like the fried up grease, and it came with hush puppies and all the other stuff. It had 19 grams of saturated fat, 37 grams of sodium, and 33 grams of trans fat. It was considered so unhealthy that the state of New York actually banned it before it got removed as a menu item. Like, New York just straight up banned the thing. The amount of trans fat you've been ingesting in one sitting is close to what you need for like 2 weeks to function. So, there's that as well. Diabetes. Yeah. Keeping that in. But hey, it only cost like $5, so you're really getting bang for your buck there. Yep. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to talk about the conspiracy board. Yeah, this shit right here. You see it? You see that? Alright, well, we're going to talk about what all this means in the next segment.
Alright, here it is. The conspiracy theory surrounding Long John Silver's is that Long John Silver's is a large-scale marijuana money laundering operation. So TLDR, Long John Silver's had a frown because his business and profits were going down, but with a visit from Johnny, who offered some money, Long John turned his restaurant around. So basically, Long John Silver's, it's pretty well known, but no one ever, you ever seen a busy Long John Silver's, if you've ever seen one? Didn't think so. The history. Okay, so, So Jim Patterson founded Long John Silver's on August 18th, 1969. So when he found his new seafood restaurant. And it never really took off. And nowadays that location is a hair salon. So how do you keep his doors open? The founding of the Cornbread Mafia. And so the 40s and 50s were a wonderful time to be a moonshiner in the southern states. Especially true for Johnny Robert Boone, a moonshiner in Bluegrass Hills of Kentucky. It wasn't enough. Sometime in the late 1960s, he wanted to get into the marijuana business. However, he couldn't just Fayette County, but he was getting too much money, so he needed some way to like launder it, hide it, whatever. So he knew where to put it. So he asked about Long John. He asked the owner of Long John Silver's if he could hide it over. They were close by, and so it was an old win-win. And Johnny, Long John Silver's, Johnny, of course. Expansion. Expanded in the 70s, the Cornbread Mafia and Long John Silver's, and Johnny became known as the King of Pot and the Godfather of Grass. So Long John Silver expanded, the Mafia expanded. The bust. Johnny Boone and many of his colleagues were busted from 1987 and 1991 for operation after many years of hard work. It wouldn't stop the Cornbread Mafia or Long John Silver's. But would stop Long John Silver's parent company, who went under in 1999. Mafia continued, but they had to be more discreet about their operations. They still continued to use Long John Silver's, closing doors. Long John Silver's was never popular, like ever, and yet it's still like running and shining. But now like a lot of their things are going out of business. But it's like, and the theory is that a lot of their business is going out because of the legalization of marijuana in a lot of states. And so, can't profit off something illegal if it's not illegal anymore. HIV. How does this connect to AIDS? To which I answer, wonderful question. See, AIDS was a growing concern in the 80s, and more men gay died of heritable disease. However, heroin addicts were also dying. Why was this? Well, as you may know, they contracted the disease because they'd shared their drug needles. Heroin is a very dangerous drug, both to people and the cornbread's profits. So it was in their interest to let it die out. They pushed out the huge campaign spreading the fact that heroin gave people AIDS, which prompted many addicts and users to quit. However, they still had to get their fix. This is where the cornbread stopped in. I'm sure you can piece together the rest. In conclusion, Long John Silver's is a money laundering operation for the Cornbread Mafia, which is still operating despite the ringleader being in jail. However, as marijuana is legalized more and more, their operations generate less and less profit. Do you guys think this conspiracy is true? I don't think it is, because as funny as it would be that Long John Silver's is just, around because of drugs, it's probably not true. They probably get most of their money from Lent. Like, they just have one boom season, that's about it. But let me know what you think. Also, it's probably the most effort I put into a video, so, like it, share it, subscribe, whatever. Spread the word around about Long John Silver's. Okay, that's it.